Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
And we have mentioned that session factory should be available only one per application. So that means when you are creating the session factory, you should specify creating the session factory only in your listener class. Once after that, you can make use of same session factory and retrieve a different session for each client request. Oh yeah, but normally nobody prefers to use more than one database corresponding to our application. That's why I'm specifying like that. Even though your session factory is per database base, but normally we won't prefer using more than one database with respect to our application. Okay. Once after that, you can just make use of the same session factory. So that means how you have set the JDBC URL, username and password by using static data. Here also, you're going to set the session factory as static information, and you'll be going to make it available for all the clients. I have created one more project, Hibernate project, H2K Hibernate project. This is also created by using dynamic web project. Currently, it didn't consist of any kind of Hibernate code. I just copied whatever that was there with my servlet code. I just copied to Hibernate code, Hibernate project. Here, the first step is, go back to your document. The first step is to create the hibernate.cfg.xml file, which is nothing but your Hibernate configuration file. Whenever you are creating any kind of configuration files, you are supposed to create one more source folder with name resources. The reason for that is whenever you have created a resources folder and when you have placed all your resources, see currently whatever the XML files that we are writing, they should be available during our runtime. So whenever you have placed all your configuration files at this level, your Eclipse will copy those resources to the runtime environment, nothing but your WebINF level, and it will make it available to all your regular classes. All that you need to do is create one more resources folder and place all your XML files in that. But don't change the normal web.xml files. It should be at this level only. You can't change the existing pre-path defined by the spec. New. So I'm going to create XML file. You can directly select Hibernate configuration file, which is cfg.xml file. If you guys have included the plugin, then you'll be able to see this. But if you didn't, just create directly the hibernate.cfg.xml file by using right click, new, other option, select XML, select normal XML and write it on your own. But if you have configured directly select Hibernate configuration file and click on next. It has suggested hibernate.cfg.xml file, leave it as is. Here you can see that you got a window representation to configure all your properties. That's the reason I have asked you to incorporate a plugin within your Eclipse. If you didn't incorporate, you are supposed to type all the tags on your own within your XML file. So here you can see that it is asking the name of the session factory, give some name, and it is asking the database dialect. You can see that what kind of database that you want to use. Currently our database is MySQL. When you have selected the database dialect, the driver class will get auto-populated. Hibernate Soumya. Hibernate configuration XML. So the driver class will get auto-populated, and currently I have the MySQL jar file in the class path, so it was able to select com.mysql.jdbc driver, and finally your connection URL. So prepare the connection URL, jdbc : mysql : / localhost. It's not required to provide the port as well, because your Hibernate knows for MySQL it was supposed to contact 3306 port only. And finally your username, which is nothing but root, and password root. Default schema anyway I have specified within connection URL itself. Finally click on finish. Here you can see that it has created. You have the access to the source file as well, and if you want to write it on your own, you just need to get this particular document type namespace and write your Hibernate configuration file on your own. The root tag will be Hibernate configuration, which consists of a session factory, and within the session factory you will configure all the properties with name and values. Value will be specified as body of the property. Session factory, here we have used the name as session factory, and properties you can see that hibernate.connection.driver class, which is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This property name, it should match exactly the same, or else your Hibernate won't be able to read the properties or create a session factory for you. And here also hibernate.connection.password, URL, username, hibernate.dialect. So all these properties are mandatory, because without these properties your Hibernate won't be able to create a session factory. Once you have written Hibernate configuration.xml file, the next step is go and create a session factory for application based. Normally, session factory will be created within your listener class. Before that, you just need to load all the jar files. Go and load the jar files. Build path, configure build path, add external jars. So here my Hibernate jars are available. I have already specified the required jar files in the plugin installation document. Just put all of them within your build path and also in your web content, webnf lab folder level. At this level. Jar files. So the first one is Hibernate 3.jar. I'm putting onto the lib folder location. And the next one, they are available inside your JPA folder. Take this one. And some required, I guess, Antelor, common, this one, I guess all are required. See, one jar file will refer to another jar file. That's the reason you are supposed to place all of the jar files within your lib path. Or else during the startup, it will throw some exception. You can just take a look at the exception, which will specify that class not found. Then you can load that particular class file. So Hibernate, down4j, SLF, common collection, Java assist, JDA. I guess most of the classes are available. Most of the jar files are available. Once I have placed in webinf lib, I can just go to build path, click on configure build path. Instead of going to add external jars, I can click on add jars. Add jars will verify the jar files within your Eclipse itself. I can go to lib and I can select all, click on OK, click on OK. So now all my jar files are available at build path level and also at web content webinf lib level. Now the next step is listener setting. Currently, I am not interested in this approach because we don't need any of this information. The only thing is we need to load the configuration. Create an object for configuration class, and after that call a method configure. So this configure method internally look for the hibernate.cfg.xml file in the class path. Anyway, this hibernate.cfg.class XML file will be copied to my web content web.inf classes folder, because your Eclipse will take a look at the resources source folder and it will copy to your runtime environment. So this configure will look for hibernate.cfg.xml file, and if you have some other file, you can just pass the file name by using your string resource, and instead of hibernate.cfg.xml, it will read that particular file. Once after configuring, you can call the build session factory method, which will create a session factory for you. So this one first calls the configure method. So the configure method will be going to read all these properties, and once after that, your build session factory method, which will build a session factory based on all these properties. Once you got a session factory, you don't want the session factory to be available as a local object. See, if you take a look at this, I have created as a local object, and if I have created as a local object, then there won't be any use. I want to create an external object which needs to be available for all my client requests. So just like how we have created for our util, create one another class which is Hibernate util. In Hibernate util, write a placeholder for your session factory and provide setters and getters for that. If you want, you can write one statement: sysout session factory created. Now come back to our my context listener. So here within my context listener, I'm going to set the session factory, whatever that I have created. Write one more sysout statement here as well. Context listener. So now you have provided the session factory access outside your listener class, so that the session factory can be used by all the clients and it can retrieve a session object from your session factory. But how it was used between the clients, the reason for that is it is a static object, static instance. So they will call only based on Hibernate util dot get session factory, which will return the same session factory. Let us go and execute the code. We'll write the rest of the code later. I just want to verify whether the session factory has loaded or properly or not. Anyway, that is a listener object, so that will be called during the startup itself. take a look at the logs. You can see that context listener session factory created properly. That means your Hibernate has loaded properly and it was able to create the session factory object as well. Go back to your Hibernate util if you want, just clear the session factory. Sorry, just print the session factory as well. This is just like a normal object. Restart the server. See, session factory object has created properly. And once after that, the next step is write an entity class. Anyway, our entity class was already available. This is our entity class, which consists of all the fields and consists of setter and getter methods. The next one, create a mapping file. The mapping file will be created as .hpm.xml file. That will be specified as a resource because we want the .xml also to be available for our runtime. To create the Hibernate mapping file, go to Other, type Hibernate. Here you can see that the last option, Hibernate XML mapping file. Click on Next. So here it will ask you for what Java class you want to write the Hibernate mapping file. Type your employee. Make sure that you have selected the employee from your project only. Currently I have employee in 4 projects. My project is H2K Hibernate project. Click on Next. Don't click on Finish. And here you can see that, I'm sorry. As of now, comment address. Okay. Create the resource one more time. Other Hibernate bean mapping file, add class, employee, click on Next. So it will suggest you that it will be going to create one hpm.xml file, which is employee.hpm.xml. You can see that the plugin has generated the mapping file between your Java object and database table. You can just click on Finish. We'll take a look at that one if there are any mistakes. Your employee.hpm.xml file will be normally created at your bean level or at your entity level. Make sure that to move that file to your resources level. We don't want Java files and XML files to be available within our package level. Open hbm.xml file. Go to source. hbm.xml file, it consists of mapping for your Java object to your database table. The root element is Hibernate mapping, and inside that it consists of a class tag. The class tag will consist of information. It consists of two attributes. The first one is name attribute, which is nothing but your Java entity bean, and the table, to which table it will map. Currently you can see that it has created a table. It has placed a table name called employee automatically. How it has selected? It will take a look at the class name. Currently the class name was employee, and your plugin has assumed that you are going to use the same name as your table also. And once you have mapped these two within your class tag, you are going to map all your properties to your database columns.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.